Hello and welcome to the Elsie Black Oral History Project. My name is Eileen Hyland. This project is all about sharing and preserving the real life stories of people living in social housing in Ireland, with a focus on fluid housing. We want to highlight the everyday experiences, the memories and the voices of residents, the stories that often go unnoticed. It's about recognising the value of these communities and making sure their stories are heard and remembered. Today is the 6th of May 2025 and we're talking with George Thompson, who lives at Mill Court in Bandon, County Cork.
I was born in Paisley in Scotland in 1947. My mother is German Jew. She was a Holocaust survivor. My father was half German, half Scots. His father was Scots and met his mother in Germany in 1906 when he worked for a company called Coates Patents, the thread people. And he wasn't an architect, but he was the general overseer of the building that they were building in Germany for thread, and that's how he met my grandmother. I have two sisters and I had two brothers. My younger brother David passed away. He was the middle brother. I'm the eldest brother, and my youngest brother Bobby lives here in Ireland, down in Kinsale. He has his own business here in Ireland, a successful business. And I do one day a week for him, so just to keep my head going, My eldest son, I have three boys and one daughter. My eldest son lives here in Bandon. I've got two grandchildren here in Bandon. He's married to a Bandon girl. So that's the reason I came over to Ireland. When I was 65, 66, I decided I've had enough of the UK. My business went bust, in a big, big way. In 2008, actually, I lost everything I had. It was a big business, but I lost all of it. I lost my home. I just lost everything, and I had to start again, and came over to Ireland to work for a company called Carpetwright as an assistant manager in Man Point, which I hated. I hated I didn't get on with the boss there, but that's another story. Anyway, and then I quit. I got ill actually, and I stopped working. Then my brother said to me, look, why don't you come in and help me one day a week just to keep your head going, and that's what I do at the moment, So,
That's great.
but life is great. I love my life. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. And at one time I had a lot more money than I have now, and I've never been happier. So there you go.
It's good to know, isn't it?
Family is the most important thing. My daughter's doing well. She's teaching down in Portsmouth. I've got a son, Blair, who is a lawyer in Scotland. And my other son, Ben, has got a home in Melbourne, but he's back in England for 2 years because his partner, her mother's got Alzheimer's, and they wanted to come back so that you could sort of be near her. So they're here for 2 years. He's got another year to go. They're down in Brighton. So I went down to see them in the summer, and it was great to see them and my new grandson, We've got 5 grandchildren, 2 here, 2 in Glasgow, and 1 down in Brighton at the moment.
Fabulous. I can
So
see how
life
happy you are. It's good.
Our life is good.
Life is good. Did you live in that same house all your childhood, where you grew up in Paisley?
When I lived in Hunter Hill, a place called Hunter Hill, until I was about 14. Managed to get a 3-bedroom council house. It was fine, but it wasn't a happy household. Okay. With my dad was quite when he had a drink in him, he was just a maniac. He used to beat my mum up and stuff like that, and it was horrific, really,
That was tough.
And he left. My mum took quite ill in the late 50s and was in hospital getting a general operation. And this was 59, and my father came in and told the 5 of us he was leaving us, and went to the hospital and told her he was leaving her. half drunk. And I never saw him for 59, 69, for about nearly 20 years. Never heard, no card, no nothing. So I'm not feeling sorry for myself because I'm not a victim. I think I maybe at one time felt like a victim, but I'm certainly not one, you know. But it did leave its mark on all the family, including myself, you know.
I'm sure.
I had a sort of low self-esteem, I think, and
less.
I was actually glad he went away.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy, but I was. I was relieved because I knew I wasn't going to have to go through all the trauma, you know. And then my mum got compensation, a little bit of compensation from the German government, being a survivor. It wasn't all of it, but she got some. And she bought a house in Glasgow. It was a tenement house, and we moved there. And I was there until I moved out and got married, you know.
Grand. Was there a sense of community where you lived, where you grew up?
A sense of community.
A community, was there?
Yeah, there was. I think there was. Yeah, there was. But I never really, you know. I think because of the problems at home, I never really felt connected.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So as far as here is concerned, then when did you move in here?
Oh God, I'm trying to remember. 3 years ago. I think it was
3 years.
3 years this October.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you tell me how you came to live here?
My name was down with the council. I was living in South Main Street here in Bandon, renting, and my name was down with the council for housing, you know. And I got a phone call out of the blue to tell me there was a place available here if I was interested. So I came along and met Joanne, who was the manager here, and had a look at it, and I wasn't 100%. I just was, I liked where I was, you know, and I brought my brother here, and he said, well, you'd be crazy not to, because it's lovely, you know, and he was absolutely right. There's more room, I've got a lot more room, I've got a fantastic view, the amenities are fantastic, you know, the people are lovely, my neighbours, Peter's lovely, you know, I tend to keep myself to myself, but if anybody needs any help, I'm there to help, you know. That's
great. So what were your first impressions of the area and the housing?
Brilliant.
You said you had a little bit of concern initially. Was it about moving from...
It was about moving, just that I think it was... I've got a couple of friends here, Paddy and Noel, and it was just a thought of how am I going to get all this stuff over there, and, you know, it was just that. It was just all the hassle, you know. More than anything else, I think. You know, I like to be organised, and I just couldn't get it organised in my head, if you follow me, you know. But once I moved, and I was totally happy, and I am totally happy. I love the place.
That's great. So you told me earlier, but here's the question. So what does home mean to you?
Everything. It's a little... I've been married. I've been in relationships. I don't know whether I'm supposed to talk like this here, but I will.
This is just your story.
I'm not a man for relationships, to be honest. That's something I've discovered about myself. I think that goes way back to my childhood. It's no one else's fault. It's no one's fault. It's not even my fault. It's just the way life is. I was married to a great lady, and we split up because of me, not because of her. Not because of violence or anything like that, because I just couldn't settle. Yeah. And my boys come from that relationship, and my daughter comes from a second relationship. But I've discovered that I was never one right for relationships. It wasn't them, it was me.
It's hard work, for sure.
Very hard work.
Yeah. But home here now, what does home mean to you? As in?
It's a great escape. It's, when I say escape, it sounds... Yeah, it's peaceful. I can be on my own, I can do my own cooking, I can invite my friends up, and it's good. Home is everything to me.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for sharing that.
No problem.
So you lived in other housing before this, you were saying you were renting?
I was.
So how does that compare to what you have here?
There's no comparison. Yeah, this is far, far better. Brilliant. I think, you know, like, I don't know what it's like in other countries, but Ireland has got it right. I hear an awful lot of older people, you know, moaning about the government and about this and that, and I look at them and think, are you stupid? You just don't realise how lucky you are living in this country. But this country is a great country, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and the people, you know, I've been, maybe I've just been lucky, but I think that there's an awful lot of ingratitude for what they have in this country.
Yeah.
But maybe it's an Irish trait.
I
love the Irish, by the way, but I think it is an Irish trait, isn't it? But, yeah, I would never want to go back.
Yeah.
You know, I visited my son down in Brighton, and that was a chore just driving there, you know.
Yeah.
I love the place, and I love the people.
Yeah.
The people are, you know, they're just magical. And they are. I prefer them. This might sound a bit of a betrayal, but I prefer them to the Scots. I do, yeah. I think they're much more giving.
Yeah.
And their humour, I seem to be able to knit in with them, you know.
Yeah. What difference did it make to get a home with Clwyd?
Financially, you mean, or
Just for you, like how did it change
well,
your life?
it's changed my life because it's affordable,
Okay.
but it's not just affordable; it's really good housing.
Okay.
It's great, you know. I don't want to put the prices up, but it's great value for money. You know, maybe I'm saying the wrong thing, but I don't care. I can't afford any more anyway, but it is good value for money.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. The gardens are lovely. They can't do enough for you.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place. It really is.
Yeah. It's a lovely place. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful place. I'm very, very lucky. I'm at the top floor on the corner, and I can see the whole of, you know, no one's overlooking me. It's just magical. Just the peacefulness. And, you know, no one, there's not too many stupid rules. You know, people I don't feel inhibited. You know, there's not somebody at your door every 5 minutes, you know, looking to see what you're up to. I don't mind that, by the way. They're welcome into my house. It's I keep it lovely and clean, very tidy, very fastidious, you know. But that's my pal say. I've got a mate who's Oscar and I'm Felix. When he comes to my house and or maybe watching the match or something like that, I'll say, you know, take your shoes off and stuff. You know what I'm saying, don't you?
How do you think people outside the community here view social housing? Would you have had experience of stigma?
I think they're a bit maybe in Ireland. I think they're a wee bit naive about it, you know. They don't realise the opportunities to have social housing are available, you know. Maybe it's that. I think in places like America, you know, it's so sad to hear some of these people talking about, you know, we're communists and stuff like that because, you know, we're socialists. I mean, it is a socialist country, no matter what people tell you. It might be built on capitalism, but there's a lot of socialism and social views here, and it's a very people's country. Whereas the United States pretends to be, but it's the opposite. You know.
Have you ever felt judged or treated differently because you live in social housing?
No, I don't care anyway. I had a house in Herefordshire. I had 14 acres. I lived next door to the Led Zeppelin guy. And my house was bigger than his, had sheep and everything. I had a tractor, had beautiful gardens. I was the first guy to grow rhododendrons in Herefordshire.
Wow.
You know, I had my own gardener. I had everything. I'll tell you what, I'm a lot happier now than what I was then. So money doesn't make you happy.
So you wouldn't really have experienced the stigma of social housing yourself?
No, not at all.
No. Okay, great. So what sort of a community is there here?
I don't. I do get a sense that there is a community, right? But I don't get involved too much. I don't go on the trips, and I'll tell you why. I feel I'm too young for that. I'm meeting up a lot of people in life at my age, and life's really been hard on them and tough, and so what, you know. It's been tough on me, but I ain't a victim, and I'm not. You know, most of the things that happen to you in your life are down to you. They're not down to anybody else.
How you react to it, really, I
How
suppose.
you react to it, you know, how you build yourself.
Yeah. But do you still get a sense of belonging here?
I do, yeah. You know, like Peter next door, he needed a bit of help the other day there. No problem. And I've said to him, anytime you need anything or you don't feel well, bang, bang on my door and I'll be there, you know. And it's the same with anybody in the building, you know. Joe, the guy who did some of the maintenance here, I'm quite friendly with him. He's a nice lad, you know, once you get to know him, you know.
Yeah. What do you have here to help build a sense of community? Do you?
But with older people, you've got to make them feel younger.
Yeah.
You've got to have them aspire to challenging, if they're able to do it. Give them challenges and help them release themselves, and then pat them in the back for doing it, you know.
For sure.
You know.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe they could have little ventures here where people could aspire to, like a 2-mile walk or whatever, the people that can walk. Oh, well done, here's a little badge for you, you know, you've achieved or whatever, you know. I'd even do that.
What do you wish people understood more about living in social housing?
What do I wish?
What about if you could send a message to decision makers or developers? What would it be?
One of the things that I think, there is a stigma, I think, right? Like you must be a stigma, you wouldn't be asking me, is that they could sell themselves in a different way, market themselves in a different way, is that social housing is for human beings to enjoy themselves and enjoy life. In some ways it's a gift, but it's not a gift. You can make it your own gift. It's for the older generation who want to embrace the challenge of living in, I can't explain it to you, but it's a challenge in its own way. So maybe they could sort of market it in some sort of way where it gives us a youthful bent on it, if you understand. Am I making sense?
Yes, absolutely, you are, yeah.
I don't think it's for old fogies, and I think that's the idea that people have, you know. Oh, you're going to, you know, you're next to your hospice, if you follow me. I hate that.
Yeah.
That's the way they should be putting it. Is social housing, it's not just housing, it's this, we give you this, it's a challenge, there's something to go for. Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely does, yeah. Really, really good point. Really good point. What would your hopes be for future generations living in this kind of housing?
More should be done for older people in every country, not just this country, but for people who have sort of, you know, worked through the 60s and 70s and 80s, when life was different to what it is now. I'm not saying it was tougher.
Yeah.
I actually think it was easier in some ways.
Yeah.